Okay, so I have here one of my amazing former clients, Michelle, and I am so excited for this conversation. I think I have told you 300 million times, but I'm gonna say it again. I just love, 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 love seeing and witnessing, like your transformation over the years, like personal, like seeing, I don't know, your personality come out even more and more, and like getting to know you in the process of like working together, but also just seeing how you have showed up in business. And I'm just getting into it, And I'm gonna let you do your intro in terms of like what you do for business and like who do you serve and how do you serve them. But I'm just extremely excited to have this conversation and just really, yeah, just share your journey because it has been such a joy for me to witness you, like step into like yourself and your power and your sense of humor that just cracks me up. So, anyways, I'll just let you take it away and tell us like who do you serve and how do you serve them?
Yeah, I'm Michele Spring, and thank you for having me. I run the website and like whatever of Thriving Autoimmune, and
Uh-huh.
I'm a health coach who helps women with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism and other autoimmune diseases to feel their best, put their symptoms into remission, all of that through a mixture of nutrition, lifestyle changes, and nervous system regulation. And a lot of that
Mm-hmm.
nervous system regulation I learned from you. Because I saw how much of an effect it had on not only just like my transformation for business, and the reason I came to you was for
Yeah.
business, but it actually had such a huge transformation on my own health as well. So that was very helpful.
Ah, that's amazing. Okay, I didn't know that, like, yeah, fully that part of it. So that's amazing. I love that. And yeah, this particular topic also, like the topic that you cover, is such one like really dear to my heart. Also, like I mean, I used to be a health coach myself, and my whole family has like many people in my family have autoimmune conditions and Hashimoto's. So like I remember when I started working with you, I was like you have such an incredible transformational story of like your own, and I just love seeing that in my clients, like they are their first breakthrough. And I feel like that embodied wisdom of like you walking the path that you are helping your people walk through, just really makes all the difference. So it just makes me so happy that you just really owned that expertise, experience, embodied wisdom, and just took it to the next level. And anyways, and you are doing amazing work. So thank you so much for that, like for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I would love to start with is like what drove you, back then, because it's been like some time now. Like it's crazy. Like time just flies. I don't know exactly when we yeah started our work together, but it's like
It
a
was
couple years.
October of 22nd, like 22.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I know. It's
crazy.
crazy because I looked that up last night. I was like, wow.
That is
Feels like it was
crazy,
like last year.
right? It's like seriously, time flies. So back then, just take me a little down memory lane. What exactly were you experiencing in life and business, like internally, externally, right? That compelled you to just like, I mean, work together basically, right? And like just and specifically also this approach versus maybe like other things that you have tried or whatever, like what compelled you to get this work started?
Yeah. So I had started my business in 2014 after I had put my own Hashimoto's into remission and saw how much of a difference doing the diet and the lifestyle and all that did like made a difference. But I was like a food blogger for a long time.
Mm-hmm,
And I think part of the reason I was only a food blogger, I was a health coach the whole time, but I wasn't forward facing as a health coach. I was a food
mm-hmm.
blogger to the
Got
world.
it.
And then I would talk to people as like we would discuss certain kind of like, why are we doing this particular autoimmune protocol diet or whatever? And people would come to me for the health coaching. And every so often I would pitch a program. Nobody would buy, but I would pitch it once and like nobody wants it, so I guess I'm done. And and so it
So
was like
funny.
people just found me kind of like through the back door, not necessarily like from any
Yeah.
front facing like health coaching thing. So I was like not out to the world that I was a health coach.
Yeah.
And so I really do think I stuck behind the food blogging because I could hide behind the food,
Mm-hmm,
and I wasn't making very much money, but I quit my job in 2016, I think,
mm-hmm.
and to make this a full time thing. Because like at first it was like, well, I can't make money because I have a full-time job. And so therefore I'm not dedicating enough time. I have two kids, like all the excuses.
Mhm.
And yet, after a few years of doing it all, like with no distraction of a job, I still
Mhm.
wasn't making any money. And I had tried all of the tactics and strategies, all of the
Mhm.
launch mechanisms, all like funnels and live launches and all of the different things, right, that everybody was saying, and nothing was still working. So after 8 years of this, I discovered that perhaps it wasn't the strategies and perhaps it was me. Uh, and I really had started to realize that I was hiding and playing small.
Mhm. Yeah.
And when I came to you, I think I'd really started to see that, like on Instagram, for example, I was posting 1 to 2 times a week. And
Mhm.
all of the script that was going behind in my head of like, well, if I post this, it's got to be perfect, and I got to say all these things, and it's got
Yeah.
to be the like it's got to be the all end all to everything, and has to tell everybody everything they need to know. I have to make sure I answer all their questions before, because if they ask me these questions, they're going to be trolls about it and they're going to be mean about it. And so I've got to, and I have to research it all because I can't be proven wrong. And like all of this stuff went on behind my head before I would post.
Yeah.
And so
Wow. Yeah.
I would barely ever post.
Yeah.
And YouTube up to that point had been my main mechanism, other than like my blog, to get out to people. And then I'd
Mhm.
stopped posting on there too because I had some negative comments, and I was
Mhm.
like like I was afraid to come across as wrong about anything and really getting in my head.
Mhm.
And so it was reflected in my income.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, 8 years into this, I was making, like, I think that year I made 50,000,
Mhm.
and which, it's great, but when you want to make this as like a replacement for my full-time corporate salary,
Yeah.
it wasn't where I wanted to be, especially because we need to talk like about expenses and everything. We were, still not
Exactly.
really,
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
breaking even. I was making like 10 cents an hour.
yeah. Okay, got it, got it, and totally, yeah, totally get it. And also, funny enough, like I actually can relate also to that, because I remember when I was a health coach, like in the very beginning, also I was hiding a lot of like in recipes, and it was a way to step my foot into the space, but without really fully stepping the foot in. So I remember when we started working together, and you were telling me all these things, I remember just being so excited about what was gonna happen for you after you got over this. And I was just like, I could see the finish line. I could see you there. And I remember when we talked, I was like, I got you. We will get, you will get over all of this. And I was just like so excited to just get started, because I felt like, again, just like I said in the very beginning, I really felt like you had such an amazing breakthrough story, and that you really had all that knowledge and more than anything, like that care, like a lot of times, we see like that perfectionism, all that stuff, it's like, oh, yes, it's getting in my way and everything, but it's like that also tells me how much you care about, your people, about really being well informed and knowledgeable, so that you can help your people in the best way. So it's like that thing, but obviously when we have too much of it, then the social media becomes really inconsistent because obviously it's so heavy and like takes so long and it's such a dread, so I totally get it. Oh my God. Yeah. And then I also could identify with the whole thing about like getting negative comments and like kind of like shrinking, because I had experienced the exact same thing. So, anyways, I remember so clearly that I was like, let's do this. Okay, awesome. So, like, tell me what I mean when we start working together and like removing these things. Like, what were some of the shifts that you can remember that were the more palpable, where you could feel, really things shifting in how you were showing up and all that stuff, and maybe. I don't know, is there anything that like surprised you in the process or like yep, anything that was surprising, about the process of working together and like removing these obstacles, I guess.
I mean, other than being like complete magic, I mean, I was always shocked because I was like, you come into this and you hope it's going to work, right? But like, there's a
Yeah.
little part that's skeptical that, like, like I've worked, I mean, I was, what, 2022? I don't know. I'm 49 now, right? So like, I have had a lot of decades of building up these this identity and thinking, well, is it really going to work? Because I've tried some of this meditation and all
Yeah.
this other stuff and it still hasn't worked. But yeah, being shocked that like sometimes I would be done a session with you and be like, I really just, I don't feel that anymore. Like, where did we go? But like one of the main things I think you sent me like, last night my intake form from 2022, and I had read over that, and I think one of the main things that I was carrying back then was that I didn't feel good enough, and I didn't feel like I was one of the cool people,
Mm,
and I remember because I had talked to life coaches, like I had hired a life coach to
mm-hmm,
walk me through this I don't feel cool enough before.
mm-hmm,
And it was like there was other bloggers that were cooler than me, there were other entrepreneurs that were cooler than me, all of these people, and I never felt that I was going to be one of them
mm-hmm,
because there was something wrong with me, or I just didn't have the it factor or whatever it was. So I
mm-hmm,
was going to always remain small because I was not cool enough.
mm-hmm,
And that was a huge thing. But working with the life coach, it like didn't really help. So I think that's why I may have been a little bit skeptical coming into this because,
mm-hmm,
I had tried these other methods and nothing had worked. But you walked me through um, a process. And I do believe it came down to a situation in middle school
mm,
where I had felt that like these other kids were kind of ignoring me and like had felt that or I had felt that like I was just not good enough or whatever to be with these kids. And I think I had felt it prior to that too, but that was like the most poignant one that was in my memory. And then
mm-hmm,
clearing through that really did help.
mm-hmm.
And then it came back up. We just had a session, like, was it last week? That came back up in a different way last
Yeah,
time, but I was able to clear that again and or
yeah,
like in that other way. And like I just feel so free from that. And
yeah.
like now it's funny because some of these people that I thought were cooler than me are now like trying to get my attention.
That
and
is so
like
funny.
I feel like okay, like I've got something to show the world. I am
Yeah,
like a super like smart helpful person that can help these people, and by like
yeah,
sitting back and not doing this I'm not helping them. So like I
yeah.
truly do feel that to my core now, like I've taken all of that like armor
I
off.
love that.
And yeah, and I'm now like, I mean, you've seen I post on Instagram multiple times a day.
Yeah, no.
I'm on
Oh
Instagram
my God.
multiple times a week, or and YouTube, I mean, multiple times a week.
Yeah, it has been incredible, seriously. And I just got full body chills, yeah, when you were like just saying that, like releasing that story. And actually I want to like pause in this moment for like exactly what you said, because it's so interesting, like how to me, like I didn't see it that way. Because I didn't understand what I was getting into when I started doing my own work like this, subconscious reprogramming work and nervous system regulation work for myself, for my own blogs, right? And then it just became really clear. Oh, I see. The business is just reflecting all this shit that I'm carrying, all these stories. So it is crazy because just like we project, like we project stories onto other people, it's like we have a relationship with our business, with success, with social media, with like money, all these different things, right? And the only thing, to me at least, like the only thing that is just reflecting, like showing, it's like basically a mirror to where those stories that we're carrying, that we are just projecting back into these things that we're doing, right? So the thing that you said, that the story of like, I'm not cool enough, right? It's like the reality is that that story, it was not really from right now, it was from before. And then, like the mind just keeps projecting that. So it's like, it's almost like it becomes a narrative, right? It's like you see a circumstance of whatever kind, and then the mind's like, oh, it's because I'm not cool enough. And it's crazy because I would go, like through business life, whatever it is, and I was carrying also like stories like that, and crazy thing is that we are hypnotizing further our brain to only see that, right? And to only attract circumstances where we continue to be reminded, or like, or we find evidence of the same story all over again, right? So it's been so cool to see you release that. And also, I think to me, like one of the things that brought me the most joy, like besides obviously like releasing all the like any stories that you may have had about yourself and whatever, it's like there was so many little details and layers, like in the work that we did. But I think when I knew that you had like you were like unstoppable is when I started looking at your reels, and I just saw your humor, like your personality come through, because I remember seeing your content before we worked together, right? And I mean, it was great, it was informative and whatever it is, but it was like missing you, your heart, your sense of humor, your personality. I'm just getting full body chills as I say this, and just seeing the whole of you step into that, yeah, into your business, like full body chills still, it has been like the most joyful thing ever. Like, it's just, and also you just crack me up, I just love sense of humor. So when I find someone that is just like making the funniest things to just teach and like really inspire people, right? In whatever journey is that they're going through. Like with you, it's like a health journey, right? It just makes it way more fun, and like sometimes changing your habits and like adopting new things and like maybe having a diagnosis, it's not the best, like the favorite thing that you're gonna experience, right? But you bring in your personality, like just makes it lighter, more fun, and like I love that, like that's your flavor of this work, and so anyway, it has been such a joy to see you, and like joy in every way, because also you crack me up with your reels. Everyone, please just go watch her. It's like hilarious. Like I just go, like I went actually recently down memory lane, like your like just reels and stuff, and I was just cracking up, like you're so amazing and so good at it. So it makes me so happy that also you showing as yourself also has expanded your ability to just impact other people's lives, right? Like the reach has really, I mean, exploded. In yeah, since like after like working together, and also you showing up consistently, because I always think it's like it's just team effort, like I facilitate the transformation, but if the or like like the processes that cause the transformation, but I always say like the deal is not sealed until the person on the other side doesn't actually take action and like do things differently in the world. And I think that is also something that I want to say about you and how you showed up, is that you were so committed to doing the work, to showing up. Like you really went for it, like, okay, awesome. I have this whole box where it is. Maybe I don't feel 100% done with them, but I'm gonna go and actually be consistent or like just really show up, right? And slowly, you just become like literally became unstoppable. And then the rest is history. Seriously, and it has been so cool to experience and to just see that. So, anyways, just thank you so much for like also you having the commitment with your vision, your growth, and wanting to do this work and showing up for the work, and like and then showing up for the business and the vision, right? I think it's always a team effort. It's never just like, yeah. So that's so cool. I love that. Okay, so I also wanted to say, like, because you actually mentioned something about like the life coaching, and I think the one thing that I want to rescue from that is like I always say, it's not either or, I love like life coaching and just like mindset coaching, like the conversations. And they are so helpful, when you're in the state of mind where you can receive that and just take, it's just quick and like, okay, implement whatever. It's like take it and implement it. And there comes a time where we are just really stuck, because I have experienced that. I was, I mean, I really feel so reflected in your story. Same as you, like had so many holdbacks for so many years, and I was skeptical about like this work as well. It's like I don't think it's gonna work on me. I feel like this is just how I am, and I blew my freaking mind about what was possible. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm sold. I want to do this, right, with other people. But yeah, like it's just going from, anyways, the skepticism is just like there's different tools for different things. And when we're really blocked, I think it's important to just get into a different level of work where we can free up our minds from those stories, so is there okay, so like that was basically like what happened in the shifts, like, and I would love to know like how did that ripple effect in your business, in your life, in, I don't know, what was the ripple effect of those inner shifts, for saying it like that.
Yeah. Before I start with that, I just want to say, like, as you were saying that, it felt when I was working with a life coach and everything with that particular situation, like I had a brick wall between me and what I wanted. And I
Hmm.
kept bopping up against the brick wall. And like there's other conversations and other beliefs and everything that I had that I was able to hop over or break through. But that was like one of those, I just kept, and I was like, why is this? Like,
Yeah.
and it felt like I was just maybe pulling a brick down at a time and it wasn't coming down in a way that was sustainable or, that was going to make a huge difference. So like it was just boom right through when I worked with you, which that's like just that vision came up to me while you were talking about that.
Yeah.
So that's just how I want to explain that.
Yeah.
um,
That's a
and
great
then yeah, like
image.
you know,
It's a
yeah.
great image for it. Yeah.
hmm As for like ripple effect and everything, it's just, yeah, it's been so helpful because like I feel like I just have confidence. I definitely came to you with a lack of confidence, like like low self-esteem, because that had been, the not feeling cool, all of that prior to that, like just kind of manifested as that way. And so like, in
Yeah.
my relationships with friends and like my husband, I would always just be like, right? Like, and I would have a hard time thinking that people actually, I have ADHD with
Mhm.
that rejection sensitivity dysphoria, where I think everybody hates me and I have to prove to them that they should like me. And so I've had to deal with that my whole life. And I
Mhm.
masked very hard with the perfectionism, controlling, people pleasing, overachieving and all of that. And so that manifested a lot with my low self-esteem. But so like
Mhm.
my self-esteem has definitely gotten so much better. I wouldn't say that I'm like still like, I'm not a narcissist or anything like that, but I feel
Yeah.
confident. Like I feel
Uh-huh.
like I really am an authority in what I teach and how I can help women.
Mhm.
And I did not feel that way before. So it's like it's rippled out that way. And then like also just like being able to feel like I can help my kids when they have
Mm.
problems,
Yeah.
because I do feel a lot like, hey, like I know what you're going through because I felt that way for a long time, but I've made it
Yeah.
through. And so to be able to give them different perspectives as well has been very helpful.
Love
But
that.
yeah. But
Oh,
then I did mention my health too, because it was, being in that people pleasing
yeah.
overachieving, all of that kind of stuff. It's not good for your body. It puts you
Yeah.
in fight or flight, chronic nervous system activation, and like no organism can live that way for a very long time without dis-ease in their body.
Yeah.
And so by unraveling a lot of those past stories and things that were just kind of chronically keeping my nervous system activated in the background that I didn't even realize,
Yeah.
I was able to like finally become calm and peaceful. And I'm not saying I don't have stress, because I still
Yeah.
do, right? It
Exactly. Yeah.
comes, but I
Same
feel like
here.
I can recognize it a lot
Yeah.
more. And I can feel when my body is getting out of that, like that homeostasis kind of like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
ooh. And so it's like, okay, now I can start to address it. Whereas before I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
so
Yeah.
it's really helpful to just be in that state of like, okay, so this is what peace feels like. And I
Yeah.
feel complete, and I know that like I am whole as a person. I'm not missing parts of me that should be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, okay, so I'm getting into a stress response, or oh, look at that old pattern. We don't need to go down that lane anymore, because wait, I don't actually believe that anymore. Yeah, all of that. So it's been very helpful with that. And that's why I really started to learn a lot more about the nervous system, so I could teach that
Yeah.
to my clients as well, because it did make such an impact on all of
Ah.
that too. So
I love that. I love that. That is so cool. I love that. And I definitely, yeah, I definitely have feel like that, those like changes, like I think when it's just pretty crazy because when we don't fully believe in ourselves, believe in our value, and like value ourselves and like when we may have like lower self-esteem, which same thing here, like I struggled with that for a long time. It's just crazy how much, because we are in that state, is like we are less effective in relationships. Like we can, I mean, not that we have to be providing for other people like constantly, but we are because we are struggling, right? Like, and we don't feel capable of whatever helping or whatever it is. It's like then we are less helpful, less like yeah, available for like I don't know, family, friends, whatever it is, like kids. So the fact that that has even ripple effect in your kids also in how because of your own transformation now you can speak from from the other side and say like yeah, I totally get it, I have gone through that, and also give that like lived experience of like don't worry, it's like you're gonna get through it, like you can see the other side type things, like that's huge, because I mean how many people don't grow up knowing that, right? Like so that is so cool. I love that. And then yeah, and then on the business side, I mean, as I was saying, like I remember like yeah, you have also grown, I don't know, in social media, like I don't know, so much where like you're reaching way more people than before. And again, because of that consistency. And I also personally think that it's not just a consistency, you know, but it's also when we show up so authentically, you know, which we cannot do if we have low self-esteem, if we don't believe in ourselves and all the stuff, you know, like there is that energy, you know, that just like also like helps. Like people can sense the energy of like someone that is just really showing up. It's like, hey, this is me, you know, like this is the whole of me or whatever, and I'm very comfortable with myself type thing, right? And it's magnetic and it's attractive, right? And so that 100% has a ripple effect in also how many people you can impact, you know, and I have loved seeing that transformation as well. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Yeah, I also like wanted to mention, I looked back at my numbers for social media and like all between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all of that. Back then, I was probably reaching about 70,000 people. And now
Hmm.
my audience is more like 300,000. So,
That
and
is
I mean,
crazy.
70,000 after 8 years.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's really,
it's definitely gotten a lot bigger. So like
yeah.
I can definitely impact a lot more people too. So and I'm
Yeah.
not scared of it.
Yeah, that's what I want
Yeah.
to say because I remember like I think the first time I ever like even realized that that could be a thing because I remember talking to you and it's like I don't want to go viral. And I was like, wait a second, there's
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
people I want to go viral, right? It's like, and it's like, no, I just don't because if I do, it's like then this and that and whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense, you know? Like, I remember that just like opened my mind as to like, oh, of course, this is scary, you know, because all of a sudden all these like strangers are looking at you, you know, and like, and they have not followed your journey. They don't know your story, your, you know, like your beginnings or anything. So they'll just like freaking judge whatever they have in front of them, you know, and people can be rude, really rude on the internet. So the fact that you say that, you know, that you have gotten to a place where like you're not afraid of it, you know, and you're embracing it, that's really, really freaking awesome. And it's a big deal because that can really send anyone's nervous system into a freaking like spiral. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
huge.
what I went from that to going what like 11 million people watching a reel like a couple months later. So and I was fine. I didn't die. So
I'm glad. That is so I didn't die. It's good to tell that to the mind. So you see, I did it. I didn't die. It's so funny. Anyways, okay, so awesome. I love that. Now, just like to wrap it up, final questions, you know, how, uh, if some, I mean, let's just imagine, you know, like someone is maybe like you were feeling in the beginning of this, where like I'm on the fence about doing this type of work. I have tried so many different things before. Like, what would you tell them? Like, how is this? How have you noticed that this is different than other things that you may have done? Or like, what is, how this complements other things that people may be already doing, you know, and how is it different?
I would say you have to be aware that you have a problem. I
Yeah.
don't like you just come in and like fix me wouldn't really help, but like we were able to like work on specific things. Like I was like, why am I
Yeah.
hiding? And you were able to tease
Yeah.
that out of me, which was very helpful. Like it was kind of like part business coach, part like magic. Just let's remove this. Uh, but it was just very like helpful to know what you wanted to work on and like or like
Yeah.
what kind of blocks you're having
Yeah.
is very helpful. And then sorry, what was the question?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if somebody's on the fence about doing this type of work because they have
Yeah.
done so many things in the past, like
Uh-huh.
yeah, what would you tell them?
Yeah.
How is this different? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So like so you need to know that part. But then like if you've tried other things and it's not working, I think it's like especially if you feel like it's part of you. If
Hmm.
it's like one of those things where you're just like, I just am. And that's where I was like,
Hmm.
I just am this not cool person. I just
Hmm.
don't have self-esteem. I just, right? Like when you just feel like I am, it's
Hmm.
that's where it's the most helpful because it's almost like you look at like a surface of soil, right? And there are weeds, but you might pull the top part out, But what you
Mhm.
do is you go in beneath the surface and you grab the root and you just yank it out.
I wrote the whole thing.
I apparently have
I
a lot of
love that.
metaphors today, but
Yeah, I love all the images and metaphors and analogies that you're bringing in. I love this.
but it's like so helpful for that because I was banging up against that brick wall and and being able to just like talk to you and then you're like, okay, cool, let's just get rid of that. Like with such confidence. Like you weren't even just like, like maybe no, you were just like, okay, let's get rid of it. And you would just
Yeah,
we would work on the process. It would be like what, like an hour total. And then you'd
yeah,
be like, how do you feel now? I'm like, I don't feel that at all. Like, and it wasn't like it was just like sometimes you can do that and you
yeah,
don't feel that way. And then 6 months later, it's back. I mean,
yeah,
we're talking 4 years later now. It's 2026
yeah.
at the time of this recording. And when I worked, I mean, like 2022. And 4 years later, I'm still not feeling that. So,
That's
and like, I
incredible.
just build on that too. It's like, so it's like
Yeah,
now I'm looking for evidence of how I am awesome versus like evidence of why I'm not cool enough. And so it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
building on all of that. So
yeah,
I think it's really helpful for that kind of stuff. So if if you're on the fence, if you've like tried a lot of different things, or if you just want the quick way to just get rid of it, it's so helpful. And I mean, it's just like my income has exploded. I only work 6 months a year. I mean,
yeah,
I will work 3 months of those, like some of it. And I take the whole entire summers off so I can play golf with my family, all of this kind of stuff. And like
yeah,
my income is so much bigger.
yeah.
So it's like it's worth like if you're looking for it to expand your income, it pays for itself
Hmm.
a billion times over, right? Because I
I
mean,
love
yeah,
that.
like when I did start working with you at first, I was just like, oh, I'm like I don't want to spend more money on this because I
Yeah,
have spent a lot of money on this and nothing's worked. But like
yeah.
100%, like or 1,000, 1,000,000%, I would totally recommend it, and I would do it all over again if I had to.
I am so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to just like, yeah, yeah, to like this again, just see your progress. Obviously, as a coach, I'm always like, I mean, I really want to give the best that I can, and like, and again, when you showed up, it's like I was like, oh, girl, like we're gonna like get rid of this, and you're gonna be a freaking totally different person, and I'm so excited for you. But anyways, as I was telling you in the very beginning, like I have not really talked like this, with my clients and just like explored the transformation and like really highlighted their stories, So like, thank you. Thank you so much for like sharing that and for also showing up for like, even if there was some doubts, even if there was some maybe skepticism, is this gonna work for me? For still, like trusting the hope that you had in your heart, like the vision that you had for your life, because I don't think it's always a like when you're making a decision like this, it's always a bunch of things, that are considered. So there's hope there, that this is actually gonna work. There is trust in me, so I'm like super honored, that you allowed me to like, open, you like vulnerably, share all the stuff and like allow me to like play a part in your story, and that makes me like brings me so much joy. And also I'm so grateful also that on the other side of that you also showed up so committed, so like you were just so committed to your transformation, to showing up to our work, to doing whatever else needed, like going that extra mile. Also, I remember you were reading stuff also like on your own and doing stuff, and like how you ended up like also doing that with your clients because of the ripple effect that it had in your life, so it's just like, yeah, that I had the same experience with, like my coaches that walk me through this stuff. It's like it transformed me, and then it made me want to work on this, and then it's just such a ripple effect, right? And you have no idea, like besides, I bet you, besides the fact that you're helping people with their own health and stuff, I'm sure there's gonna be people that are so transforming in their own transformation, and that they blow their mind so much that they're probably gonna even want to do the type of work that you do, and ripple, and like the ripple effect keeps going, right? So I just love that. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with me, and yeah, like, and opening, like just being so vulnerable. So just saying all the things and whatever, like I just think it's good for people to know where where you could be and how the transformation can happen and where you could end up, like just seeing the whole thing. And I know also, as I was saying, like very beginning before we started recording, like so many of these transformations and like, so many of these things, like issues that people bring up, like can be so vulnerable, for them. So I'm always like, like just share whatever you want to share. So anything, thank you so much for openly sharing this, because I know it helps people on the other side that maybe are thinking it's like this is just how I am, like there's no solution for it type thing, which I have personally felt like that before, and it's very sad to feel like that, so I'm just so grateful for everything that you have shared today, the openness. And I'm sure that's going to help also people out there, just see what's possible for them as well. And that makes me so, so, so happy. So thank you again. And where can people find your magic in the world? All the websites, all the Instagrams, whatever. Just tell us all the things.
Probably the best place to start is Instagram, and that's Thriving Autoimmune. And
Awesome.
then if you want to check out YouTube, I'm Michelle with one L Spring there, or you can search Thriving Autoimmune. I probably should pop up there too.
Yes, you do right away.
Yes.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you again so much. And yeah, like I'll see you soon.
Yeah, great. Thank you.